salty day in 1920, and we see a vast expanse of rural farmland, agriculture, but piercing through the middle is a train track. And on that train track, a carrier train chugs along. You see, starting at the back, what looks like tents wrapped up, being cargo. And then as you move forward along the train, you see the cabins. You see an animal car. You see the dining car, all the way up to the front of the engine. We're going to start towards the back of the train. Right next to the animal car, there's one passenger car. And we see through a pair of eyes, sitting on the train, keeping an ear to the wall for her animals, eyes heavy, having just finished a long performance week with the Starfall Circus. Her eyes start to shut, and she tries her best to keep them open as she looks across the way at the two girls staring back at her. Twin performers with asymmetrical black bobs, very chic, very of the times, the Eton cut. And as her eyes shut, sleepy, tired, it's almost as if the two faces blend into one. And her eyes start to shut as she accepts the fact that she is going to lull off to sleep. The train, with a jolt, comes to an abrupt halt. And she slides across the seat, slamming into the other side. Worried the train might be derailing, thinking of her animals, she comes back to life. And we see her. And she is...
Meg Karr's daughter. The Meg is short for Mildred.
And why do they call her that?
I have 2 rows of teeth and a really big, beautiful smile. I'm the amazing shark girl of the Starfall Circus.
And your animals, your animal oddities, sit in the cart right behind you. You weren't too happy about the fact that your animals are going to have to share a car with the circus's 2 horses, owned by the twins sitting across from you, Bernie and Bobby.
They hate horses. That will be so hard.
So, as the train abruptly jolts to a stop, the twins jump to their feet and exchange a glance of, what was that? We're nowhere near town. The horses, and they open up the door to jump back to the next train car to check on their horses.
I'm absolutely following them.
Okay. So what kind of cryptozoological animals do we see?
Oh, Meg has quite a collection. As sort of an oddity herself, she feels very attached to them. There's a jackal, a jackrabbit. There's also a snake with 2 heads. There's a pig with an extra set of trotters. And lots of birds. These aren't necessarily oddities, but they're just injured animals that she's like, oh, well, you're part of me now. So there's animals that might be, hurt or injured in some way. I won't describe that graphically, that she's just trying to care for, trying to accept and love.
Mm-hmm. And your animals that you love, who you fund their care through displaying them as oddities, although doing it lovingly and respectfully with the Starfall Circus. The 2 girls rush over to their horses, both giant black Frisians named Foxglove and Belladonna.
Of course.
And they rush back, and the horses are startled. They're rearing, they're stomping, obviously not happy about suddenly being slammed against the back of the wall. And the girls, both of them have somewhat a stern, flat face. But when you see them with their horses, you can see a look of compassion as they comfort and calm the animals. But you hear doors from the other train cars. Someone is running through the train to the back. And you see your manager, Clyde, the owner of the circus. And he peeks in and he goes, "You all okay?
Everything is good.
Anything
yes.
broken back here?"
No, but I don't like that we stopped so suddenly. Sisyphus is telling me... Oh, that's the two-headed snake, if you remember, Clyde. Sisyphus is telling me he didn't love it.
Well, I don't really love it either. At this rate, we're already going to be late for setup for our next show. That's actually what I'm back here for. I just went up front and I checked in with Harold, who you know is the train conductor and engineer. He said, "I just checked in with Harold. We're still miles from the nearest town. Looks like something with the engine blew. We're lucky we didn't get thrown off the tracks. But that's why I'm here. There's no way we can walk to Crab Orchard, which is the city just down the way." And he looks at the two girls and says, "Bernadette, Barbara, I need you two to take the horses into town to see if you can't get anyone from the railway down here to take a look at the train." And the girls both look over at him. "Our horses aren't really for travel. That's not what they're..." Which Clyde responds with a, "Okay, well, then the horses can stay stranded with us all in the middle of nowhere, Tennessee. That work better for you girls?" And with a sigh, they both grab the leads of the horses and start getting them ready for a ride, which honestly looks a little bit ridiculous because their bridles and saddles are meant to be shown as dressage horses. In fact, it's kind of odd to see these horses without a large bejeweled feather on their forehead. But seeing them now being ridden into town, you start to understand them as animals, like your animals, a little bit more. But Clyde glances over at you and says, "All your little guys and fellows are gonna be okay?"
I will have a talk with them, but I think they will be all right, yes.
Okay, well, just stay put. Hopefully they can get somebody down here today. I'm gonna go check in on everybody else, but I'll be back soon.
Thank you, Clyde.
It's Mr. Barrows to you. And he takes off again into the train car. And a few hours pass, and it's a hot Appalachian day. The sun is bearing down on the train car. And what do you do to pass the few hours while you're waiting for Bobby and Bernadette to get back?
Ooh, I talk to my guys. I've got a Sisyphus coiled around my neck, and there's a bird on my finger. He's missing a leg.
He's a one-legged bird?
He's a one-legged bird. He's a marvel. He's amazing. And I think I'm just going to complain to these animals alone in silence. I don't know why they call it an eat-in bob if they are not eating anything with it. Don't you agree? It's so true. I've always said that.
The snake replies. And about 4 hours pass, and you hear hooves coming back towards the train. Clyde has come back again to check on you, make sure the animals are fed, see if they need any water. And the two girls bring the horses back into the animal car. And Bernie looks at Clyde and says, "Well, we were able to phone the railway station, but they're not going to be able to send someone for at least 4 days. We're kind of in the middle of nowhere here, but apparently there's some local fellow who's good with trains, and they say he's back in town tomorrow, so we'll ride back tomorrow and have him take a look." Clyde rolls his eyes, throws his hands in the air, and huffs off, as you know he often does in frustrating situations. But the two girls put their horses back in the stalls, and you get the sense that you're going to be spending another night in a train car, which isn't exactly unfamiliar to you. The sun sets over the train and rises again, and early in the morning, the girls take off again on horseback. And by about midday, they're on their way back. And they're spotted by someone waiting outside in the sun. A woman looking over her crystal ball, reviewing her notes, enjoying the sun, trying to take in the respite from a usually busy circus schedule. And we see
Mildred Doyle, Mistress of Mystery.
And what do you think she's been doing to pass the time?
She's probably been nosing around a little bit, like offering, like pieces of advice to everyone that she passes by. She's been in like circus life her entire life, so this is not unfamiliar to her. Travel, spending time with, people who are of different backgrounds and interests. So she's, just like going around saying, things like, I wouldn't cross any water nearby if I were you, my dear. Things like that.
Well, Clyde comes up to you, his usual pinstripe blazer off, fanning himself with his hat. Say, Mildred, why didn't you warn me we were going to be breaking down in the middle of nowhere?
I did, Clyde, dear. I told you to avoid travel in a straight line.
On a train.
On a train. Must have been after my nightcap. Oh, I think I see the twins. And as they ride in, a couple hops off the back. A man and a woman, both probably about mid-30s. Very different from the folks you typically see in these big cities where you typically perform. Like the show you just finished up in Nashville. These two are a little bit more country bumpkin. The woman is wearing probably a hand-me-down dress. The husband is wearing a pair of overalls and has a little pair of spectacles and a couple big briefcases. And they walk up to Clyde. And the woman introduces herself, and she says, well, hi, I'm Louise, and this is my husband, Ernest Johnson. We're from the town just down the way, and we heard you're having a bit of trouble with your train. Ernest is real good with trains. He'd be happy to take a look for you. And Clyde kind of pulls Ernest to the side and starts chatting with him about, so what's this gonna cost me? Why don't you start taking a look? But they kind of shuffle off into the engine room of the train, leaving the wife standing a bit awkwardly around, putting together her bags off of the back of the horse. And she gives you a glance. So, are you one of them fortune tellers?
Indeed I am, my dear. What is it that you do?
Oh, well, I just travel around with my Ernie. He's really good with trains. He is not real good with socializing. So, I like to help him out, lend him a hand with people. I like to, hum a little tune, keep him busy while he's working. But
I see.
I've always wanted to get my fortune told.
Well, perhaps when you come to see us at the circus, I can give you your full fortune, but I might have one little piece for you here. And she, pulls out her little travel crystal ball, and she,
Her pocket size.
Pocket size for your convenience. And she looks at Louise and then down at her crystal ball and looks back up at Louise and back down at her crystal ball. And I think she, is kind of, a little careless about this, but also wants to, show off for this lady. Mm-hmm. And so she kind of, takes in her entire outfit and everything. And can I make a psychology roll?
You absolutely may.
Okay, that is a 13, so success.
Okay. Well, what are you trying to glean about Louise?
I think in this moment she's not trying to do anything wild, but make an observation that would impress Louise. Wow, how'd you know that about me? It's just I think most fortune tellers do. It's
yes. You can tell Louise, based on the way she's reacting to this, mysticism you're doing, is she's maybe a little bit squeamish and sensitive. So she's like very excited that you're doing it for her, but she's also a little scared that, something might happen or, you're going to tell her bad news. She just seems a little sensitive in that way.
So, let's see. Noticing this, Mildred says, "The future is nothing to be afraid of, my dear. It will come whether you want it or not. It is best to be prepared in every moment for the best and the worst. I see that you are halfway there, but you must embrace it. Embrace your strength. You have what it takes to get you where you want to go." And then she pockets her crystal ball.
You are so wise. You must know a lot, don't you?
Well, what I don't know, I am told by those far greater than myself.
I do tend to need a little push. Ernie thinks I'm a scaredy cat. His great-great-grandpa brought over those, what are they called? Penny Dreadfuls. And, I read over those, and I could not sleep for days. I also found out what they call restrooms in the UK, and now I don't let anybody call me Lou anymore. It's just Louise, but I'll take your advice to heart, okay? Now, where did Ernie go? And she scuttles off to find her husband carrying, his little toolboxes and bits and bobs parts. As the day goes on and you kind of nose around in business, do you get curious about what they're doing at all?
Like passing curiosity. I mean, the workings of a train is like nothing to Mildred, but she's like, maybe curious to see what Ernest is up to or, how Louise is doing with whatever's happening.
Mm-hmm. So as you kind of come up to pass, Clyde catches you walking through the train cars, and he goes, "Oh, you going to go see what they're doing up there?"
I'm meandering, and if I end up there, then it is as it should be.
Very, mystic of you. And as you two walk up, you hear kind of coming from the train car they're working in, you hear a voice. It's lovely, it's blithe. The tune is beautiful. It's not anything you've heard before. And you've heard a lot of singers. You've traveled the world. You've been with the circus. This isn't a classically trained operatic voice, but it is lovely and comforting, almost like your mother or your aunts singing a song to you. And as you come up, you see Louise singing a song to her husband Ernest as he tweaks around inside the engine. As you enter, Ernest turns around. "Oh, there you are. Your piston is blown." To which Clyde throws his hat on the ground angrily and then goes, "Is that bad?" And Ernest goes, "Well, it's not good, but if we go home, I could probably bring back the parts and have you fixed and back on the road by the end of the day tomorrow." Clyde breathes a sigh of relief. "Whew. All right. Do you want me to have the twins take you back into town?" And the couple nods, and with that, as the sun is setting, Louise and Ernest catch back up with the twins and ride back into town. Once again, night falls. Now your second night in the middle of rural Tennessee. The sun rises again. Everyone who was excited about this brief respite is now getting a little antsy to get back on the road. People are getting hot, miserable. You still have food and supplies to last you for a few days, but this isn't anyone's ideal situation. Ernest rides back in with Louise, and they start working again at the train. Another person hears the voice of Louise, and catching the sound, having not heard it before, being a little bit in a world of their own, follows the noise to the front of the train. And which head peers in first?
doll one.
Louise turns around and is greeted by the face of the illustrious, world-renowned Dollina, to which she jumps in the air, lets out a shriek, and jumps behind her husband Ernest and goes, Ernie, that's scary! And starts slamming on his back and says, get it! And hucks a wrench across the room. Would you like to roll dexterity to have Dollina dodge a wrench?
We'll have that.
Or dodge? Is that one of your skills on there? Dodge?
Wouldn't it be horrible
is.
if the first thing we did in this campaign was make this doll break? And all of Christie's hard work just...
Poof.
Well, you'll be happy to know she succeeded.
You're able to definitely move Dollina out of the way. Her hat does come off.
She's gonna be so angry.
And Louise keeps screaming and hollering and hitting Ernest, and Ernest turns around and he goes, oh! Do you do anything? Does a second head follow in?
A second head does pop in. She goes, why would you throw a wrench like that?
Louise peeks around Ernest's back and goes, oh, is that your friend?
Yeah, she's my best friend. I
Oh,
didn't need to do that to her.
well, I'm so sorry you frightened me. I wasn't expecting that.
You just have such a lovely voice. We had to listen.
That's so kind of you. I just think to keep Ernie busy is all. It's nothing major.
Have you thought of joining the circus?
Me? Oh, this old girl, no.
You think she should join?
She grasps Ernest's wrist, like white-knuckled. That is so friendly, so burstable. No, we'd much rather get you folks back on your way to your show. In fact, what's his name? Mr. Barrows Clyde? Your manager? The owner? Could you let him know that, we found another, hiccup in the engine? Yeah, we're gonna have to have someone go back in town and, get some more parts. In fact, where are the two, the riding girls? Could you take me to them?
Yeah.
Okay, so we make our way to the back of the train car, and we're joined by our two previous friends who are sitting in the back with the animals chatting. Mildred, do you have any connection to animals?
I mean, she likes animals. I don't think that she's like particularly connected to them, but she doesn't mind being with them. They're, peaceful for the most part.
Well, today you decide to be nosy about what Meg and the twins are up to. So you make your way back to the animal car, and you see Louise is making her way back to let the girls know that they'll need to ride back into town and that they'll have to come back once again tomorrow morning. You see Bobby is over with Foxglove, scratching behind his ears nervously. She looks over at the three of you and goes, "You're good with animals, aren't you?"
Occasionally, yes.
I hate to ask this of you. Could you come take a look at him?
Sure.
Okay. What skill would you like to use to assess Foxglove?
Can I use Natural World? I think that would be the most fitting.
Go ahead. And the two of you can feel free if you would like to help.
That's a definite success. It's an 8 out of 70.
Ooh.
All right.
I know this
Nice.
horse so well.
You know him.
I can push him through the eye of a needle.
So you're looking over Foxglove and, you see Bobby again kind of holding his face into her face and her chest to try and comfort him as he just kind of shuffles awkwardly. As you're taking a look at him, it doesn't look like he's severely injured. But it dawns on you looking him over that this horse is typically under a spotlight, again, bejeweled and befeathered, trotting around in a circle, and is not really used to traveling miles a day, especially with 2 people and cargo.
Oh, you poor thing. It must be so hard to be a member of the proletariat. Oh my goodness. It's okay, you will end up like everyone else soon, so you will rest.
Bobby looks at you and goes, "What's wrong with him?"
Oh, he's just tired. Yes, he's being worked too hard, and he's not used to going on all of these adventures through town, and he doesn't like his outfit. It is ugly.
You got all that from a horse?
He told me.
Well, I don't want to take a break on training. Can I still ride him?
You could, maybe, but I wouldn't go as long. Or certainly don't be bringing the extra cargo. He will be sad.
Bobby sighs and glances at Bernie, and then they look at Louise, and Bobby goes, "Well, looks like it'll just be me riding Foxglove for now. So I guess, Bernie, you could ride one of them into town and then come back for the other? Well, that's gonna take you all day." And Louise chimes in with don't worry about it. I could just stay here. And you could take Ernest back. He knows what parts he needs. And, you could ride back and forth, and it'll be totally fine.
This is a perfect idea. You can stay with me and Eloise.
Who?
Oh, the Japon.
Oh, and, well,
She's new.
Maybe I could stay with you, or maybe I could,
You can't stay with
well, maybe. Do you have a spare bed?
I never sleep, my dear. Sleep is for the weak. You may use my bed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And with that, they let Clyde know that it's going to be a couple of days. That Ernest is going to have to ride back into town, get the parts, and come back. Once again, the sun goes down, and you all tuck into bed. The sun rises once again, and around midday, Bernie returns without Ernest. Once she gets in, she pulls Clyde to the side and says, "Look, something has happened in Nashville, and apparently Ernest has to go, so he's not going to be able to come back for a couple of days."
Do you mean we're stuck here?
Well, unless you know anyone else who can fix trains. So, what is it? We're on day 4 of being trapped here now. Hopefully we can leave within the next couple of days. That's what it sounds like. Clyde turns around and he points at a person and says, "Bring me my bourbon," and starts walking back to his train car. And we see a young man, kind of the lackey of the circus, the in-betweener, if we may, kind of startled by being addressed so suddenly. And who is it that we see?
Felix Harper hears the voice of Clyde, and it startles him because Felix Harper was thinking about the next audience member he was going to play. He's widening his library. So he hears Clyde's request for bourbon and sets off toward where Clyde keeps his bourbon. And as he goes, walking through the train, he mutters under his breath in what is really like a Scottish accent in progress. He says, "Oh, me? No, certainly not. I'm just a wee granny from Scotland. You wouldn't want to saw me in half, would you?"
And is this for the Magician's Act?
Yeah.
Just for fun.
Perfect. Do you trample off to go get the bourbon?
Yeah, he's going to get the bourbon. So he's going to get the bourbon, and he's practicing his little Scottish granny. He like sticks out his chin a little bit and like starts to shake a little bit, like how they do sometimes. And he's like, "Oh dear, I'm such a frail little lady. You wouldn't want to take away my purse, would you? It's all I have."
Do you have like a granny disguise on?
He's working on assembling his granny disguise.
So there's a little bit of a ramshackled granny.
He's not currently wearing it. This is something, this has been a little project that he's done to keep himself occupied for the last 3 days. So he's currently got his little sort of prototype in his sleeping quarters. He doesn't really have his own car, right? He's not really that part in the circus, but he has a little bedroll. It's kind of a towel that he lays out.
They don't treat the audience plants very good.
It's set up is you're getting mugged.
Yeah, it's
a little lady.
it's the coin trick, It takes the money and rips it up. Yeah. He's been sleeping under a horse.
Which one? Belladonna or Foxglove?
Foxglove.
The tired one.
Yeah, they've been like running all day, so there's like a lot of heat underneath them when they come in.
So you're like a little lizard.
Yeah, you keep warm.
I like this mental picture.
Audience work is a hard industry.
So as you're doing your granny impression up the hallway, you actually see a man with some striped overalls and a cap, hunched over with his cane, and he goes, "Carlotta?" And he turns to face you and he goes, "Did you see her?"
"Oh, see who, me boy?"
"Oh, was that you talking?"
"Oh, sorry, yeah, that was me."
And it's Harold, the train engineer, who's old and deaf and mistaking you for his dead wife, Carlotta. Did you see where Carlotta went?
"Carlotta?"
She was talking to me. I heard her.
"Oh, did you hear the voice of an old granny lately? Someone about your age."
Huh?
I see. Carlotta, you're looking for her?
Yes.
Okay, so there's like a split second where Felix thinks about telling this man the truth, and then he decides to take the other road. And he says, "Oh yeah, I think I saw her, Carlotta, up there." And he gestures toward the engine room. "Carlotta, she's like, probably looks to be like 90, and he like looks the man up and down. 96? So a little younger than yourself, I think."
Ooh.
I'm heading to the dining car.
"Well, if you go find Carlotta, she'll probably
They don't
agree to
have
accompany
good
you."
food in the dining car.
"Well, on that we certainly are agreed, but just between you and I, Mildred Doyle," and he like gets closer to the old man's hairy ear. Does he have a hairy ear? I don't know, what does he
Hairy,
look like?
waxy old man ear.
Oof. So he doesn't look at it. He kind of looks away as he leans in. He just really wants to sow some little seeds of mischief, so he's willing to get close to this abomination of an ear. But he leans close to the man's wrinkly old face and smells his old wrinkles and says,
Smells his old wrinkles.
Felix has it out for this older guy.
and
I
says,
love the character's trait, hates the elderly.
Put that on your character sheet.
he's a roguish young man. So he leans close to this elderly fellow and says, "Well, just between you and I, Mildred Doyle, she calls herself the Mistress of Mystery. She keeps a private selection of biscuits in her personal car. They're much better than the biscuits you can find in the dining one."
You know what, young man? Could you give me one of those biscuits? Last time I went rummaging around in a young woman's room, I got in heaps of trouble. You just can't do that anymore.
So Felix, like, his eyes, like, twitch at that, and then he says, "Oh, yeah, sure. I was actually on my way there, so I could filch you one, I suppose."
Thank you, Jimmy. You're a good chap.
Great.
I don't like... never mind. And he walks off.
Okay, as the old man toddles away, Felix says, "Oh, sir, you have a lovely buttocks, don't you?"
Dollina! And he starts looking out the windows.
Felix laughs and continues going toward to fetch the bourbon. And as he goes, he continues to rehearse his grandmother impression.
Perfect.
Sure, I'll get you some biscuits, you old coot. Just don't go rooting around in the young ladies' rooms anymore, you old creep. Things like that.
Well, the night falls. You hear Louise, who has been sleeping in Mildred's room, go, "Ah!" At some point throughout the night, goes, and the man go, "Oh, wrong room," and leaves.
And you know something else weird? This Ernest fella who's been working on the engine. Don't you find it odd that he's the only person in all of Kansas who apparently, or wherever we are, who apparently can fix trains, yet he somehow managed to go 6 days without fixing a train?